Instant Freeze Aussie Hairspray. It's a great hairspray because it will hold your style, but it will allow you to easily brush it out and wash it out without any damage to your hair. You also need your bow. You'll need a couple ponytails. Depending on the length, how thick your hair is, you might need some tiny ponytails. You can purchase them at Dollar General. They come in packs of like 100. I prefer the clear ones, or if your hair is dark, you may use the black ones. You're going to need a bunch of bobby pins. And then you're going to need something to tease your hair with. There's a teasing brush. You may use a regular brush or a comb. Depending on your thickness of your hair will be which way you want to do this. Okay, let's get started. It's best to do your hair when it is slightly dirty. Freshly washed hair is not the easiest to put bumps in. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to bump your hair. Can I have the teasing brush? With super fine hair, I find the teasing brush the easiest to use. What you're going to do is you're going to section off kind of like a U shape in your hair. You're going to go from the center of one eye to the center of the other eye, come straight back, and then do like a U to connect it. Some people do a straight line. That's fine. I personally find a little bit of a U shape to make the bow pop the best. So first thing you want to do is just section it away. You can use the edge of a comb. You want to pick up the comb that has the tail on it. That comb can help you section your hair away if you are not the greatest at sectioning. I have a little bit of a nail on my finger, so I typically just use the edge of my nail when I'm doing this for competition. You just want to get a good line. It's not like you're going to see this part, so it's not super important if you lean your head forward. As you see, I came straight back, and then just kind of U'd it in the back. Alright, so we're going to have Sam hold this for a second while I pull the rest of her hair back and out of the way. It is important when you're doing this on your own that you do have multiple ponytails available, that you, instead of holding it, you would put it in a ponytail, and then you would put this ponytail in the back, and then you'd pull this one out, and then you have all this hair to bump with. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to take small 1/4 inch sections, 1/2 inch at most. I suggest 1/4 inch. Spray lightly in the root area with the Instant Freeze. Let it a second to dry, and then you're going to push downward. It's best if you don't hold this hair up here super tight. If you hold it super tight, it won't tease as well. But you want to hold it enough that the hair teases. If you don't hold it tight enough, it'll just all fall through. When you're done, the hair should stand up. As ugly as this might be, this is the way you tease hair. You must start with something ugly to end up with something pretty. Please do not be afraid to tease your hair. It'll be a lot harder to get this bump in if you do not like teasing your hair. Teasing your hair in a downward motion will not damage it. Just loosely hold the hair up above and pull down. Once again, the hair standing up when we're done. Keep working your way forward. And I always smooth the hair upward before I spray. Spray it, give it a second to dry. Hold it firmly but loosely so that the hair is allowed to be pulled out of this. You want to hold it so it doesn't fall out of your hand, but loose enough that as you're pulling down, the hair will push down and form a mat down here at the bottom. And that's how you get a good tease. You can also do it with a comb. Same concept. You put it in, you push down. Put it in, push down. Or with a brush, put it in, pull down, put it in, pull down. Depending on the thickness of your hair or how hard your hair is to bump, you might need to try different methods till you get what works best for your hair. Once again, I smooth it out. I spray it. If you're using newly washed hair, it's going to be harder to bump. So you might actually have to come in and tease your hair twice to get it to do what you want it to do. Just keep working your way forward with small sections. Even though it seems like a lot of work, the better you do it the first time, the less you have to put in later. When you're getting close to the front, you want to keep working the layers the same. Sometimes I throw a little tease in before I throw the hairspray in. It all depends on how new your hair is. If you just washed your hair and dried it and straightened it, we are working with straightened hair. If you just washed it, just straightened it, you're going to want to do a little tease, a little hairspray, and then tease it fully. Now when you get to your front section, give it a little back comb, okay? And then just pull it right up in. If you tease the front section of your hair really hard, it is going to be very hard to make a smooth bump. Once you get your entire bump done, you give it a little spray. You turn your side to the side. Yep, that's fine. As you see, we have a very huge bump right now. It doesn't look pretty right now, but it's huge, okay? Any leftover pieces of your hair, just pull up, pull in. Now what you're going to do is we're going to work on smoothing. So here's our bump. Turn to the side. Just your head. See, there's our bump, okay? Now, we need to smooth this all out so it looks like one piece. So just hold it all up so you have all the hair together and just start pulling it back with a brush. I suggest a teasing brush at this point in time or a boar's head brush, something that is smooth. I wouldn't suggest using a comb or one of these brushes. You'll pull all of your teasing right back out. So just start smoothing it and pulling it together. And you will pull some of your teasing out by doing this, but it's okay. Right now we're looking to smooth your hair. We want this to be a very nice bump. And the best way to get a nice bump, you don't want to dig in real deep, but you definitely want smooth hair. Put some hairspray in. And then come into this bump. Alright. So now to do this bump, I'm going to give you a cheat sheet. Me personally, when I do a bump, I'll put bobby pins in right away. But what happens when you do that is when you go to throw in your ponytail, you lose your bump. And if you haven't been trained how to do this, and gone to school, it's very hard to get that bump to stay in place when you pull your ponytail in. So what I'm going to suggest you do is put a tiny little ponytail in. Do not use a regular size ponytail. It would be too big for anybody's hair. So you have everything pulled back nice and directed back away from the face. The further you put it away, the further you put this little ponytail away from the front of your head, the bigger your bump's going to be. So with Sam's hair, I'm going to put it near the end of her bang PC area that she has. So I'm going to put this in. Get in there nice and good. Alright, and then as you see, it's like sticking up like a little teepee here. At this point in time, this is when I push it down and I push it forward and I put my bobby pins in. So as you see from the side, I'm going to take it down and I'm going to push it forward. And I'm going to form the bump by pushing it forward. I'm going to fix it as I'm pushing it forward to make sure I get a nice bump. This is how you're going to get a really high bump, even if you're not good at teasing. Even if you're not, when I'm putting these bobby pins in, I'm putting them in an X motion. Samantha's going to tip her head forward, and you'll see the bobby pins were put in an X. When I put them in an X, they're going to hold better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a little spray in here now. I'm I'm going to make sure that the hair is all being directed upward. You want to fix your bump at this point in time. This is the way it's going to look when you're done. If you need to, sometimes you have extra pieces of hair sticking out here by pushing the bump forward. At this point in time, that's when you're going to want to use the bobby pins to tame these corners down and in. And while you're doing this, you're looking in the mirror, so you're seeing how your bump is being formed. So you'll be able to see how to pull this in a way that looks good for how you'd like it. And once again, you want to pull in your brush. Make sure your bump is smooth, and do any final pinning you need to do at that time. And once again, the reason for having the little ponytail is when you pull your big ponytail in, if your bump starts to go away, all you do is push your ponytail forward and you got your bump back. And as you can see, we're going very high with the bump. It's the way it's going to look the best with the second part of the bow. Okay, so we have our bobby pins in, and we have our bump. The next part of this is to pull in your high ponytail. If you have thicker hair and you have kind of fluffy hair to the sides, what I would suggest doing before you do your ponytail is to pull your sides up. So I'm going to demonstrate that first, just so everyone who needs this can see this. Direct your hair in an upward motion on the sides. Spray it. Direct it up again. Pull up. Bring it in. Blend it with your bump. Once it's blended with your bump, put your pins in right over top of your ponytail. 2 pins is probably necessary in a cross pattern to get this to stay in. Once again, you do the other side. Direct the hair upward. And I do suggest when you're doing any of this smoothing that you do use a brush, either a teasing brush or a brush with boar's head or natural hair fibers. Something that's soft and that will allow the hair to come up nice and smooth. A brush that has ends like this will not make a smooth ponytail. So direct it up in. And Samantha's hair is very flat. And so doing this beforehand isn't necessary for her hair. But maybe someone who has curlier hair, it would be beneficial to pull up your sides before you bring up your ponytail. Then you can make sure that you blend everything and you like the way your sides look with your bump before you even put your ponytail in. It'll blend it better and give you a better bump. And as you're doing this, you always have to fix your bump. Some people have little parts that like to come into this. Samantha likes to get a little part over here. So you want to make sure that you're pulling this up. And you're directing the hair up into the bump at all times. Once you get all this done, if you don't need to do extra work on your sides, just go ahead and start directing the hair upward. I will use this brush to start getting the hair going up. If you're doing this on your own and you're not doing this with someone doing your hair, you might want to flip your hair upside down at this point in time and start pulling all your hair up. Because I'm doing Samantha's hair, I find it just easy to pull it all up. You doing your hair personally, it might be a little easier to flip your hair upside down and then get it all up here and then flip it up and start smoothing it. Once again, you're going to want to use a smoothing brush. Bring it all up. Once you get it all sort of in the right direction, you're going to want to spray. You want to spray, give it a second, and then take your smoothing brush again and direct all the hair up. This is what's going to stop all of your little tiny flyaways from falling down and it looking like you just kind of woke up and threw your hair in a ponytail and came to the comp. All right. So as you see, when I'm directing the hair up, I'm directing it all the way up, straight above her ear. That's where I'm bringing it all really far up. Okay? So when I get this hair all the way up, I'm liking the way it looks. I'm smoothing it. Maybe spraying it again if it needs it. Smoothing it again. When I get all the hair up there and I'm liking how it looks, that's when I grab a ponytail. Okay, now this one, even with Samantha's hair, I throw in a normal ponytail. So you want to put the ponytail in right at the top of the head. You do not want your ponytail to not come up to the top of your head. We are going to be teasing our ponytails, and if your ponytail's not sitting on the top of your head, it's going to be nearly impossible to get a nice ponytail. At this point in time, you want to smooth again, directing all the hair upward, and then a final spray to make sure the hair does not come down. I usually use my hands at this point in time to make sure I've controlled all of the hair. So I have a ponytail and a bump. And as you see, her ponytail comes right off of her ear, and her bumps is really close to it.